This is really, really problematic here. The president said, right now, nearly 1 in 5 women in America has been a victim of rape or attempted rape. That's what he said at the Grammys. That was what he said in the PSA. And he said more than 1 in 4 women has experienced some form of domestic violence. Now, let's run the numbers here. And by the way, this is totally irresponsible. You have a bunch of made-up malarkey that is emanating on the campus. You know, after the fake rape story at University of Virginia that ran in Rolling Stone magazine, and all kinds of it when people pointed out that, hey, it didn't happen. There were no rapes. The Rolling Stone story was totally wrong. The defense of that was, well, that's not important. I mean, that story may not have been true, but, you know, it's happening. And so our story served a purpose to raise everybody's consciousness level about this, because it is happening. There is massive events of rape happening all over America and all over the campus. And if it didn't happen at the University of Virginia, it doesn't matter. And this is how the left and the drive-by media cover the lies. This is how they make up or try to cover up for the lies that they report. Well, it's happening somewhere. We might have got it wrong here, but it doesn't matter. We still got it right overall. Out of the current population of the United States, 316 million, women comprise statistically about half of that, which means that there are about 158 million women and girls in the U.S. Now, if 20% of American women have been raped or almost raped, that's 1 in 5, then that's a total of 31.6 million women. 31.6 million women have been raped or almost raped. What is almost rape? What is that? Did he define that? So we're left to our own devices to define almost rape? Okay. Well, just going by what the president said, 1 in 5 women in America have experienced rape or attempted rape. 31.6 million women have been raped or almost raped, which is somewhere between the populations of Texas and California. That's the way to put this in perspective. So in this country, the populations of Texas and California, women have been raped. Now, the numbers the president gave are widely out of line with national crime statistics, which they don't show anywhere near that number of rapes in the past 20 years. Nowhere near it. The national crime stats show fewer than 2 million rapes being reported in the last 20 years. That's a big difference. 31.5 million versus 2 million. That would also mean that if Obama is right and 25% of American women have experienced domestic violence, then, again, running a number, 39.5 million women in the country are victims of such violence, and that's more than the population of California. And notice that the same time Obama claims the media is hyping terrorism, and that's why he went out and said to Vox, they're hyping terrorism. This is a bunch of random zealots. It's just some zealots shooting. It's just random folks. At the same time Obama claims the media is hyping terrorism, he points out and puts out just outrageously inflated numbers about sexual assault and violence against women. You talk about hyping something? But it's even worse than that. The numbers that he announces are even worse than that. What's happening is it all started, actually it didn't start, but it really intensified with the totally made-up war on women being conducted by the Republican Party. That began in earnest in January of 2012, during a Republican primary debate when George Stephanopoulos relentlessly queried Mitt Romney if he favored contraception laws in states, and nobody knew what he was talking about, Stephanopoulos. It came out of the blue, it came out of nowhere, and Romney, after trying to deflect it, had to answer the question to make it go away. Once he answered it, that was it. Didn't matter what the answer was. Romney said X about contraception. There you go. Republican candidate commenting on contraception. That equals a war on women. And that's where the intensification began. This war on women theory and meme is actually part of the modern era of feminism, which can be traced back to the late 60s or early 70s. The notion that men are predators, that all men are predators, that's their natural state, that women are at high risk every day of their lives in this country. And Obama is now throwing gasoline on that fire and using totally made-up statistics, creating a number of, it's a situation of rampant fear among college women all over the country with these mythical stories about the rape culture that exists there. And now here's Obama throwing gasoline on that fire, it's just going to further divide men from women and vice versa. And this is not unity. This is not comedy. This is not everybody getting along. This is pitting people against each other. This is creating culture wars, or in this case, exacerbating them. And for what purpose? What purpose is served with Obama making these numbers up? What purpose is served by lying to the American people and telling them that 31.5 million women have been raped or almost raped in this country? The Washington Free Beacon from today, Obama uses discredited statistics on sexual assault. President Obama repeated sexual assault stats during the Grammys on Sunday night that have been thoroughly discredited. In a video during the broadcast of the award ceremony, Obama said that almost 1 in 5 women have been a victim of rape or attempted rape. And again, that's 31.6 million women. Using the numbers. However, that 1 in 5 figure has been widely questioned. American Enterprise Institute researcher Caroline Kitchens noted in October of 2013 that the statistic was derived from a questionable study. Christina Hoff Summers of the American Enterprise Institute explains that the study often cited as the origin of the 1 in 5 factoid is an online survey conducted under a grant from the Justice Department. Surveyors employed such a broad definition that forced kissing and even attempted forced kissing qualified as sexual assault. So, we're getting closer to understanding here what Obama means by almost raped. Forced kissing and attempted forced kissing. Now, you think I'm exaggerating about the negative impact all of these lies and myths are going to have on our culture. From our old buddies at campusreform.com, Columbia University to force students to write poetry to combat sexual assault. You remember when, that's granted, these are the old days, and I'm not trying to come off as an old fuddy-duddy here. I've studiously tried to avoid that as I have matured and grown older. But you remember the days when colleges and universities used to require learning math and languages and advanced science before you could graduate? And now it seems the only requirements are things like learning sexual respect and tolerance for sexual diversity. Columbia University students will be required to participate. Required. This is not even an elective. Columbia University students will be required to participate in a sexual respect education program, which can include poetry writing if they wish to register for classes or get a diploma. Columbia University. This is not the University of Mars we're talking about here. It's Columbia University, ranking high up there in the Ivy League. And if you want to graduate, register for classes, get a diploma, you're going to be required to take a sexual respect class, a series of them, which can include poetry writing. Students will have to complete one of 4 options by March 13th. The options include participating in an hour-long workshop, submitting a reflection piece on 2 different technology entertainment design talks, watching and discussing short films on sexual abuse. That just sounds like an excuse to show porn movies, if you ask me. But what do I know? And the fourth option, producing art or poetry. According to the Columbia Daily Spectator, students' art and poetry might be on display even in an exhibit later in the semester. Decreasing the prevalence of sexual assault requires a dramatic change in campus culture, said Jason Reed, a Columbia sophomore. Neither poetry nor one-hour trainings will affect meaningful change. Apparently, the sudden increase in sexual assaults on college campi is almost as established a myth as is global warming, and the only complaint seems to be the colleges aren't doing enough to stop it. Now, the push for training, this requirement that students take a sexual respect education program, including poetry writing, the push for this was led by students at Barnard College, an all-women's liberal arts college affiliated with Columbia. Barnard students do not have to participate in the program. They just said everybody else does. You believe that? The women at Barnard College don't have to participate in the program that they are demanding be taught at Columbia. Of course, the women are exempted. Women are, of course, exempted. Women are not natural-born predators. Women are not natural-born rapists. Women don't engage in sexual abuse at all. They're never anything other than victims.
1 in 5 Americans. What do you think this is going to do to people out there to believe this stuff? Young, gullible little skulls full of mush in the millennial generation and younger who believe this stuff when it comes from the Oval Office and from the government. I guarantee you they're going to spend the rest of their lives believing this stuff. Anyway, I'll take a break here, but you sit tight because we're just getting started. EIB Network and El Rushbo back after this.